What is bioethics? Bioethics is the study of typically conventional ethics brought about by advances in biology and medicine. Traditional biotechnology. Traditional biotechnology refers to ancient way of using living organisms to make new products or modify existing ones. Example of traditional biotechnology. First is use microorganisms to make fermentation product. The second one is selective breeding to enhance their trait in their offspring. The third one is ancient Egyptians used honey for respiratory infection and as ointment for wounds. Limitations of traditional biotechnology. First, can occur only in same species. Second, take long time. And the third one is all genes are mixed. Benefit using a modern method. First, a single gene can be transferred. Second, species boundaries are not limited. Next, transfer gene is being carried out in a controlled way. Next, time reduced. Insect and pest resistant, disease resistant, and lastly, enhanced nutrition. Modern biotechnology, GMO. WHO 2016 defined GMO as organism in which the genetic material has been altered in a way that does not occur naturally by mating and/or natural recombination. Challenges into new technology. First, expansions of population. The current global human population is approximately 7.35 billion. Decrease in arable land. FAO predicted that finite amount of arable land available for food production per person will decrease by 2015. Bottleneck of conventional and modern breeding. There are several limitations on conventional breeding, therefore, presence of modern breeding technique come to solve all the limitations. Benefit of GMO. Agronomic benefit. 1996 until 2012 saw an increase of more than 370 million tons of food crops. Economic benefit. From 2006 to 2012, the global increase in farm income from GM food have reached 160 millions. Modification of chemical composition. Some genetic modification is specifically targeted to enrich certain nutrients in products. Improvement of food processing. GM technology can also be employed to facilitate food processing. A notable achievement is flour-starved tomato, product of therapeutic purpose. Genetic engineering technique enable the expression of viral or bacterial antigen in the individual portion of plant cells. Thus, transgenic food could serve as oral vaccine capable of stimulating the immune system. Potential risks of GM food. First is health risks associated with GM food. Three major health risks potential associated with GM food are toxicity, allergenicity, and genetic hazard. They are arise from an inserted gene which result in the alterations of the protein expressions. Ecological risks associated with GM food. Selection of resistance will result in the alterations of the environment, such as disruptions of the food web. Resistance to antibiotics may risk to the human system by the consumptions of the GMO product that have been genetically modified.
Welcome to Control of GMO. The need for biosafety education. What is biosafety? is the biosafety regulation is key to ensuring the environmental and human safety of GMOs and giving the public confidence in GMO products. Secondly, it is essential to have strong but not stiffly regulatory system that independently reviews and approves each product for safety before it is released into the environment or commercialized. Governance of genetically modified organisms in Malaysia. GMO in Malaysia. In regulating GMO, Malaysian government has enforced Biosafety Act 2007 to regulate the release, importation, exportation, and continued use of living modified organisms. The release of products of such organisms with the objective of protecting human, plant, and animal health, the environment, and biological diversity, and where there are threats of irreversible damage. Next is the Ministry of Health Malaysia (MOH). The draft on GMF based on Codex Standard draft regulation has stated that no person shall import, prepare or advertise for sale or sell any GMF without the approval of the Director General of the Ministry of Health. Ministry of Science, Technology and Environment. This ministry code of conduct for the release of GMOs into the environment focus on agriculture products and to be extended to medicine, food and others. The pre-market approval is conduct food safety assessment, enforcement and monitoring.
The second control of GMO is in the United States. The regulation of GMO in the United States is divided among three regulatory agencies, which is U.S. Food and Drug Administration (FDA), U.S. Environmental Protection Agency (EPA), and U.S. Department of Agriculture (USDA). In U.S. Food and Drug Administration, it uses Food Safety and Feed Safety Authority under the Federal Food, Drugs and Cosmetics Act to oversee the safety of food. They also set and enforce the process and the produce of GMOs and GMO ingredients to follow the safety standard. And FDA has the authority to withdraw or confiscate a product if a security threat arises after the product appears on the market. Next is the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. They are responsible for approving pesticide and herbicides registration in protecting human health and environment. They also monitor all other types of pesticides that are used on GMO and non-GMO products. EPA regulates the safety of the substances that protect GMO plants to make them resistant to insects and disease, called Plant Incorporated Protectants (PIP). Next is the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The USDA Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service protects agriculture against pests and disease. APIs regulate GMO plants to make them harmless to other plants under the Plant Protection Act. This figure shows the collaboration and coordination among these agencies to ensure the safety of GMO, foods and plants, as described in the Coordinate Framework for the Regulation of Biotechnology.
The impact of genetic modified organisms. So, are GM crops better for the environment? So, the first environmental effect is the pollution by synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. It gives positive impact where it reduces the pollution caused by synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. GM agriculture is commonly tolerant to herbicide and insect resistance. The herbicide-resistant plants contain genes that can protect the crop from harmful effects of weed killers. Insect-resistant plants contain the gene that can produce their own toxin to kill insects. The cultivation of GM soybean, canola, cotton, and maize reduced the pesticide use by 22.3 million kgs for formulated product. The next one is conservation of soil and natural habitats. It gives positive impact where the use of marginal lands for farming purposes possibly can avoid natural habitat from being converted into farmland. The GMO produce plants that are resistant to abiotic stresses such as acidic or dry soil, and this can be an alternative to conventional crops. The next environmental effect is the impact on non-target species, especially the pollinators. It gives positive impact, which is the use of pesticide is reduced to protect pollinator population such as bees. It also gives a negative impact where GM plants also may decrease the health and population of pollinators. This is because bacteria producing toxin in soil Bacillus thuringiensis produce protein that are toxic to insects. The last one for the environmental effect is the gene flow, invasiveness, and superweed. It gives a negative impact where it creates the weeds that are resistant to herbicide. The use of specific herbicide with GM herbicide-tolerant crops has led to the evolution and spread of superweeds, and it will hard and no longer to be killed with herbicide.
Impact of GMO towards animal and human. The benefit and risk of any particular genetically modified crop GMO is depend on the interaction of its ecological function and natural history with the agroecosystem and ecosystem within which it is embedded. The world population has topped 6 billion people and is predicted to double in the next 60 years. Genetically modified foods promise to meet this need in a number of ways. Advantages of GMOs: pest resistance. It can help eliminate the application of chemical pesticide and reduce the cost of bringing a crop to market. Herbicide tolerance. It could help prevent environment damage by reducing the amount of herbicide needed. Pharmaceutical. The researchers are working to develop edible vaccine in tomatoes and potatoes so it will be easier to consume. Disadvantages of GMOs pose a potential risk to insects, particularly to those that involve in pollination of GMOs crop. Insects can develop resistance to the pesticide. Human health. Human health also at stake, such as gene introduced into the potatoes is toxic to mammals. Genetic consequences. Insertion of the desired gene into a crop's genome could activate or deactivate other genes, causing unintentional consequences as well.
Some aspects of the development of the biotechnology need to be taken into consideration. Consumers need to have all the information of the GMO product and only then they can make the choice. Bioethics play important roles in the development of biotechnology and human population.